Hello guys, and welcome back. Welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies. And in today's video, we are going to be doing another ins and outs of fish keeping. With that said, I must apologize for two things. First is the line. I can't help with the line in this video. I apologize. The second thing is this obnoxious, noisy air pump. We're going to talk about why I have it out in a second. It all has to do with this video. It's supposed to be about quarantine tanks and hospital tanks. Why do we have them? Why do you need one? And why it's a really good idea for you to go out and get yourself a quarantine tank right this second. Without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so you get your new fish from the pet store, or maybe you ordered fish offline, You got your new fish and you put them into your new clean aquarium and you're happy with that, right? You got your new fish for your new tank, a tank that's already set up with other fish, other healthy fish. These new fish that you're getting might be sick. They might have something wrong with them. Are you going to risk your older fish? Are you going to risk your healthy, happy fish and stick somewhat possibly sick fish into your aquarium? That sounds like a really, really bad idea, doesn't it? Because then you end up with the entire aquarium that's sick. And then, because of that, you might have to go through the entire aquarium, the rocks, the materials, the plants. You might have to heat up the tank a little bit more and add medicines and chemicals and stuff like that to deal with your sick fish. That is not a good idea. So the best thing to do is to, of course, get yourself a quarantine tank. Now, what is a quarantine tank? A quarantine tank, what does quarantine mean? Quarantine means if there is something sick, you put it in a room, or in this case a tank, by itself for observation and medication. Actually for observation until they are healthy. If it is found that they are sick, of course then it becomes a hospital tank. Which, the only difference between a quarantine tank and a hospital tank is that a quarantine tank you are observing for sickness. A hospital tank is when you know that the fish is sick and you're doing something about it. Without further ado, how do you set one up? It's very simple. Look at my setup back here. I have a 5-gallon bucket and a 10-gallon trash can. I put bags in them. That way I can hopefully keep the water kind of cleaner, make it easier to, clean this stuff out when I get it done. It's much easier if you get like a plastic tub or something that you can actually see through to see the fish. It's even better if you have a second or a third little aquarium where you can really watch the fish for sickness. But with that said, a 5-gallon bucket can be a quarantine system, and that's all you really need. All you really need is a 5-gallon bucket. You're gonna need some filtration. I actually took some filter media out of the 9-gallon aquarium and stuck it into the quarantine system. I have my air pump running so that I can have not only water movement, surface tension, so there's oxygen exchange, and of course the air is going through the filtration, keeping the bacteria alive for the new fish. Now, I don't have my new fish. Hopefully by the end of this video, I can show you my new fish that I'm actually getting for both of my aquariums, which is why I set up two systems, because some fish are going into that tank, some fish are going into this tank. So I wanted to set up two quarantine systems. Very easy. And of course, I have a big, powerful air pump with 2 air lines going into each tank. Makes it very, very simple and easy. Best thing to do for a quarantine tank, best filtration you could use it's just a simple sponge filter. Keep a sponge in your existing aquarium, take it out when needed, and just make sure your quarantine systems are fed with bacteria so you can keep the fish alive while you're quarantining them. Now, once you know that a fish is sick, then it becomes a hospital tank, and all you gotta do with that is, you might have to do a couple extra water changes. Water changes is actually a great way to deal with sick fish. You always want to try to do water changes first before you end up doing medications, because medications can be really hard on fish tanks. With that said, some medications can actually degrade some of the silicone on your tank and stuff like that. Medications is very, very difficult to get out of the aquarium as well. So if you have a sick fish in your main aquarium and then your entire tank gets sick, putting in medication into your main display tank, that could cause an issue, because once the fish is healthy, they don't need that medication anymore, and now you have a tank where it's difficult to get the medication out. It's very easy to set up a hospital tank where you can pour the medications in, pour the fish in, take the fish out when they're healthy, and then just get rid of the stuff in the water and the quarantine tank itself, really, or hospital tank. It makes it very easy to do that, and you can do that with just a simple 5-gallon bucket, 10-gallon trash can. The bigger your quarantine system, probably the better, but, you're normally not going to be quarantining for anything more than a month, and hopefully when it comes to hospital tanks, you only set them up for a couple of weeks, just to make sure the fish is healthy. Of course, if there's something wrong with the fish inside your main aquarium, like say you got a fish badly injured or badly sick, none of the other fish are sick, so you might be able to take it out and put it into a quarantine or a hospital tank and let them heal up. It's very simple, very easy to do, and probably the best way to go is to have a quarantine system on hand. Okay, so I should probably talk about the idea of getting fish just shipped to your house in the mail. I've done it a couple times now, and it's not as scary as you think, but you do have to keep this in mind when you open up the box and get your new fish. The fact is, these fish are put into little bags, stuffed into a box, tossed onto an airplane, and then most likely put into a mail truck, a shaky mail truck, and then handed off to you. Imagine this. Imagine you are going on vacation or something, right? You're going on an airplane, okay? You have the possibility of being next to sick passengers. You're in a tight little space, and when you get off of the airplane, what do you want to do? Do you instantly want to go do your vacation? No, you might want to take a couple of hours just to rest, just to, at least I do. I usually, when I get off an airplane, the first thing I do is I go to my hotel or home if I'm coming back, and I sleep for a day. I give myself a day to acclimate, right? Okay, now imagine this. Imagine you're doing all of that. You're tossed into a tiny little box. You don't understand what's going on. You don't understand anything. And then you get onto a shaky truck, handed to a complete stranger. It's the most terrifying thing for fish. The most stressful thing for fish. And it is possible that fish can die during transit. It is what it is. You have to deal with it. Of course. And also because of that, a lot of the fish you get are probably not going to be happy. They're probably going to lose all of their color and just are going to be completely unhappy fish. That's why you put them in the quarantine system, to let them color up, to make sure that they're healthy, and make sure that they're eating right. Make sure that they're happy before you put them into your display tank, where they will possibly go and hide and then die because you're not able to watch them carefully. This kind of stuff is really important, and a lot of people don't know about it, a lot of people don't do it, a lot of people should, and that's why I decided to make this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye. With all of that said, what am I gonna do when I get my fish? I'm of course going to quarantine them, but for how long? How long should you quarantine your fish for before adding them to a tank? The idea is a month, so you can really make sure that they're healthy. I go for about a week, just because, not necessarily pet stores, but when you buy fish offline, they have a reputation where if they sell you a sick fish, their reputation is going to go down and no one's going to buy fish from them. Because you'll send them a bad review possibly. So they usually will send you the healthiest, cleanest fish ever. So no problem there. That's why I tend to trust my my sources where I get my fish. And I put them in the tank. I put them in the quarantine tank only for a week, possibly 2, but I usually only do it for a week. I just want to make sure that they're eating and that they're happy and comfortable. Once they are, I can then add them to, of course, their main display tank, their real home tank, you know. But with that said, let's go ahead and show you guys what fish I got. I got lemon cichlids and lemon tetras. Lemon tetras are obviously going to be going into the tetra tank, and the lemon cichlids are going to be going into the Mega Flex cichlid aquarium. That's going to be a lot of fun for me. Alright, so actually a couple things changed. You'll notice the orange bucket is gone. What's going on? The fact is, I actually originally canceled my fish order, and the reason why is because I was having trouble with the company. I will never buy from that company again. I'm not even gonna name it. The fact is, they were being jerks. They were not giving me information. I called like 4 times. No pick up the phone. I tried leaving messages. Nothing. Eventually, you know, I canceled the order, only for the next day to have them arrive. So I tore everything down and was going to scrap this video for another time, but then they actually showed up on my front door, so I threw my trash can together as well as this tiny 3-gallon bucket that I had. It used to be my original 3-gallon tank. This was my first fish tank ever. I'll never set it up again, but I will never get rid of it, because while it is scratched as hell, it is a very good fish bucket for me. It's halfway filled, so it's a 1.5 gallon. I'll probably fill it up more later on. I just needed to put the fish somewhere. They've only been in these little tanks for about an hour, and they're already starting to color up. So I am going to try to get some footage for you. With that said, remember this is their first day, and they've just been in the holding tanks, and they're going to be in here for at least a week. I'm going to try to get them to eat, hopefully, and, you know, just make sure that they're happy, they're healthy. Once I can get them eating, once they show full coloration and stuff like that, and I see that there is nothing wrong with them, and it's been a week, then they will go into their home aquariums. Alright, and this video was all pretty much filmed at the end of February, beginning of March. Yes, that's right. It's been a couple of months. And in my next video, I plan to do a couple month update on both of my aquariums. I hope you guys do enjoy, and I am out.